Going to be a good one.
Number 8, Princeton. Number 4, North Carolina. And Brady Wambach wins the opening faceoff. He is taking it all the way, misses wide. And North Carolina gets the opening possession. Wambach has been very good at the faceoff X to start the season.
And this coaching staff is ridiculously confident in his ability on the offensive end. They leave him down on the crease in a lot of situations and continue to facilitate offense with him on the field. He is a scoring threat from that faceoff X, which is a rarity in today's game.
Duffy and Petramala get their touches as North Carolina brings in their first midfield. Ty English dodging top side. North Carolina already 3 top 10 wins. Shot on the run and a goal! Andrew Price. Less than 40 seconds in, the Tar Heels strike first.
The price is right for Andrew Price as he pushes that one off the earth, gets topside, uses the ground to create some deception for Chronic in net. And that's just a beautiful shot placement from Price. He's a big midfielder. He's lengthy. He stretches the field well, and he puts the Tar Heels up early. Early offense is crucial for UNC.
And all this talk about the attack duos for both sides, our first goal comes from a midfielder. Both these groups are looking for more production from their midfields.
Rightfully so, and that was a key point of emphasis heading into this season for UNC.
Wambach again with the face-off. Go ahead.
Need to get production from their midfield units, and outside of Owen Duffy and Dom Petramala, where was that production going to come from? And you see James Matten with the ball there. He has been a huge weapon behind X coming from the box for this Tar Heels team.
Biggest win for North Carolina at Johns Hopkins, 13-12 victory, an emotional one for the Petramala family with so many ties to that program. This would be their next biggest win. Duffy spinning off the pick. Princeton's hung up here. Shot saved by Chronic. That was Levy on the wraparound, and another opportunity. Chronic up to the task again, denies Matten. He sat a couple of years behind Gianforcaro at Princeton. He was the goalie in waiting as the Tigers get their first look on the offensive end. 90% of this offense has run through the attackmen the last couple of years. 15th spot against a good Duke defense on Friday. John Dunphy on the dodge. He had a couple of goals. Man-up situation for a second. A trailer for North Carolina. Princeton with 4 top 10 teams to start their schedule. A gauntlet for the defending Ivy League champs, who have been to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. Here's Mackesy. They want to get him up top. There'll be a lot of early slides to him. A little bit of space for Kabiri. Under 10 on the shot clock. Running out of time. Gianforcaro has that one bounce off his stick. Now Kabiri at Gianforcaro with the save.
They go low to low twice there, and Gianforcaro is going to eat that up 10 times out of 10. He has such great recognition with shot placement from the top of the box.
North Carolina puts it on the ground. But it'll stay with the Tar Heels. Bounces off of the stick of Colin Molshine, the close defenseman who's making his 46th consecutive college start. Duffy from the wing. How do you approach Duffy and Petramala if you're the Tigers? Are you early to slide to them, or are you letting them go one-on-one?
With Duffy, I'm early to slide. With Dom Petramala, you got to look out for him off ball. His ability to weave through certain places on the backside pipe is what really makes him so impressive, and just has an absolute hammer. So in your approach, you need to get that stick out. You got a 6-foot pole, jam that head of that stick right into the chest of Dom Petramala.
These are 2 teams that I would say are offensive oriented, but that's not a knock on their defenses. These 2 teams can play some good defense.
And with UNC, it was a question here early on with Peter Thoman out for the season, that defense was going to be by committee.
Duffy tries to shovel one in, misses. Shot clock is down to 6 here. Got to be quick. Petramala, he misses wide, and that is a shot clock violation. Nice defensive possession for Princeton. They get the stop.
A rare right-handed shot from Dom Petramala, as well as we all know him as the lefty hammer for this Tar Heel squad. But like you said, a great job from this Princeton defense applying pressure early out on the perimeters and just being suffocating on this Tar Heels offense.
This is something they haven't seen a lot of so far, this 10-man ride from North Carolina. They'll pressure you. A couple Tar Heel defenders to the ground, but Princeton will slow things down. There's Bonanno spinning and misfiring. North Carolina with the early goal from Price. That was about 40 seconds in. Kabiri now. You'll notice with this Princeton offense, a lot of it comes from behind the goal and a lot of movement around the crease, picks being set.
They work well off ball. Constant movement is the name of the game for this Princeton offense.
Kabiri has him hung up top. Bonanno, left-handed shot, scores! And we're level at 1.
And we'll see Kabiri stretch the field here, and he creates so much offense from behind the cage and puts this one on the money up top. The hitch gets to the middle of the field and fires one past Gian Ficcaro. Goes offside hip on that shot placement, and once again you see them using the earth to create deception and confusion for the keeper.
A freshman from Providence, Rhode Island with his first career goal. Two midfield stepping up for the first couple goals. Princeton wins their first face-off. Jackson Green controls from the wing. McMeekin will take most of the face-offs for Princeton. He had a really good night against Duke on Friday. Won the final 6 face-offs of the evening after a really slow start in his first couple of games at the X. Ball movement, off-ball movement for Princeton. Kabiri trying to get his hands free. He does, and Princeton takes the lead. Nate Kabiri, the sophomore, with his 4th goal.
Such great offense from this Princeton squad. They have the ability to move from one trigger or action to another without stopping or resetting. It keeps that D communicating, second guessing, constantly using those multiple 2-game sets. And they find that opening in the middle of the field. Once again, using the middle of the field to their advantage. And the Tar Heels are down for what is a rare occasion for them this season.
To Waratah watch list type player, Nate Kabiri. Him, Burns, and Mackesy so effective. That group of attackmen. North Carolina has not been down often. They had a back and forth game against Johns Hopkins, but they led for the majority of that with a big first quarter. That ended up being a 1-goal game. Not used to being behind. Down the alley, Sean Cameron. Kabiri up top. He's got a short stick. Skip pass. Palumbo has that rattle off the post. Gianforcaro, I think, actually tipped it, so reset of the shot clock. Kabiri now behind at X. He's moving all over the place. Mackesy. Don't want to let him get that left hand free. An elite shooter. This is miles wide. That was Cameron. Kabiri wrapping and missing wide. North Carolina trying to pack it in as best they can. A little bit of wind picking up here. Dunphy nearly lost the handle. He did. Takeaway for North Carolina. Ashine picks it up.
And you saw that Princeton offense try to go to the flip and pick. With that flip, it creates the deception that they're going to use that field reversal, and it's disguised as an intended pick, but just an errant pass on that flip gives the Tar Heels the offensive possession.
Been a little while since they've been on offense. Price, who's not on the field, has North Carolina's goal. Second midfield in, Levy, one of the captains. Here's Mason Suchek, the freshman from Naperville, Illinois. Suchek again, lost the handle. Takeaway for Princeton. 5-on-4. And it fizzles out. A couple nice defensive possessions for both sides.
Really nice transition from Princeton, but an even better job from UNC to get back in the hole.
Nearly 9 minutes gone in this first quarter. Two high-powered offenses held in check to start things. The big Carson Kramer at 6'5", trying to work his way in. Kabiri whips it around. Mackesy, and that's saved by Gianfrancaro. One thing we've seen in the early going, I don't know if this is a scouting thing or maybe the fact that a lot of those Princeton guys know Gianfrancaro personally. They're trying to go bottom third of the net.
Going low to low is usually a great opportunity to try to beat such a prolific goalkeeper, and both of these guys in both nets with Gianfrancaro and Chronic are both going to have exceptional games today to try to give their teams offensive possessions, because that defense in front of them is quite strong.
Kramer broke his stick. He has to exit the field. Petramala misses. That stick is splintered in half on the shaft. Duffy swimming, floating one over the middle, and he missed his target. Was trying to find Wertheim on the crease. Really impressed with Princeton defensively to start this game. We haven't really seen North Carolina held in check early in a game yet.
And Duffy has not had the strongest starts to his weekend. Had a big matchup with Brandon LaFell of UPenn.
Was a little quiet in that game against Penn. He didn't play a lot of the second half. North Carolina was up really big early. Trying to keep him fresh for the two-game weekend with Princeton and Penn coming into town, swapping against Duke and North Carolina. Mackesy's up top. Princeton in the 1-4-1 set. Cameron somehow got that back. Skip pass, Kabiri. And it's saved. Gianfrancaro with a couple of big stops against his former team.
This is a team that he knows and is able to recognize certain things, and the Tar Heels are going to try to use that to their advantage here.
What do you want to see from North Carolina on this possession? A couple of duds their last two possessions.
I think trying to get the ball into Duffy's stick here, and more or less even trying to get it into James Matton's stick. He had a great job facilitating at X and try to get those off-ball cuts, those scissor cuts inside to be able to find some guys open. Their bread and butter is transition offense in early offense, and they haven't really been able to create a lot of that today. Let's see if they can use that two-man game behind as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Princeton's done a nice job of making sure they settle down, sort of a half-court offense rather than that transition offense. Matten coming around, bounce shot misses. Suchek being harassed in the crease. Jack Stahl knocked it loose, and it's another turnover. This Princeton defense making themselves known early. Two to one game. North Carolina with the first goal. Couple quick ones for Princeton. Kramer, Gianfacaro, another stop, standing tall in the net. You know he's got to be amped up for this matchup.
This is a big-time game for him, and as we mentioned in the open, a lot of emotions for him, and you can only imagine what he is feeling with an opportunity to play against his former team where he really built a name for himself.
Worked his way into the starting role. He was splitting time before being the two-year starter, and Matt Madelon said, I don't know why we didn't just give him the keys. I mean, he was so elite in the net, we just weren't sure about it until about halfway through his sophomore year. He came to North Carolina, and a couple months in, they said they wanted to elect him as one of their captains. The players had a players-only meeting and picked Gianfacaro, even though he'd only been there for a few months. Price was North Carolina's lone goal, gives it off. Wertheim. Here's Duffy, he's been quiet. Swimming. Matten, a great distributor. The junior spins, he fires off the post. Matten doesn't get a lot of love with Duffy and Petramal, but he's a solid player.
He absolutely is, and that's just a great question mark dodge, and puts that one in a beautiful placement, just rings it off the aluminum on that near side pipe, and just an even better job from this Princeton defense. They're not really using that two slide, they're shading Duffy. They're following him down the alley just to try to create some pressure, let him hear those footsteps, and it's really starting to rattle the young player.
North Carolina can take it pretty much all the way down. There's like a 2-second difference between game clock and shot clock right now, and I think that's what they're going to do. Why not? Keep the ball away from Princeton, and you give yourself a chance to tie it after a quarter. Not the first quarter we expected for two high-flying offenses. Princeton put up 15 on Friday, North Carolina 16. English tried to wrap around. Price again, deflected. What a stop by Green, and his stick is broken in half. Princeton has sacrificed 2 sticks already. They've got a break, 2 seconds. And unable to complete the pass to Colin Burns. A fast-moving first quarter. Princeton on top 2-1. The defenses standing out in the first 15. Your schedule can get much tougher than the beginning of Princeton's 2025 schedule. Look at these tough tests early in the year as we welcome you back to the second quarter in Chapel Hill. 4 top 10 teams to begin the season.
It's a great starting point for your young squad, and games like this only help you down the road. And once you get into Ivy play, obviously the winner of that conference tournament gets an automatic bid, but God forbid they don't win this Ivy League tournament. Wins like this, having games like that on your resume down the stretch are only going to help you come May.
And when we opened the broadcast, we said this had a postseason type feel, even though it's March 2nd. This is why. You get a win against North Carolina, you match up with a couple of top 10 wins. I'm not going to say you're guaranteed a tournament spot, but you put yourself in a really good position.
Without a doubt, in that win against Duke, on Friday was huge for this Princeton team when it comes to looking at these rankings. Right now, number 8 will surely be moving up within that top 5.
Really quiet first quarter for two high-flying offenses. Couple of big saves from Gianfrancaro. Princeton controlled most of the possession, most of the tempo, but after a goal by Kabiri to put the Tigers up 2-1 with 9:24 remaining, nobody scored the remainder of that first quarter.
And it all boils down to a big matchup that is going to be looked at for this game. You have Salucci guarding Coulter Mackesy, and that's a young freshman who drew a lot of praise from head coach Joe Bresci and has a lot of big shoes to fill and has been a big part of their defensive success.
Violation by McMeekin, North Carolina's possession. He called him the most impact freshman, Salucci, and that's a freshman class with 8 top 100 players. That is no small compliment. And he has solidified a defense for North Carolina that's missing a preseason All-American in Peter Tillman. So for them to not have to rotate much in the defensive 3, that's something that they didn't expect to have to do as Levy dodges. Duffy taking a look up top. Little muscling his way in, right hand, misses wide. Duffy again, hands free, off the post. North Carolina's hit the post for the second time.
And we're playing a little 5-on-5 right now, as you see on the far side of your screens. Barton still on the field.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that. He's just hanging out. He hasn't been able to sub out, and they've got McMeekin caught out there. Now the quick substitution. Princeton does a nice job defending that. Couldn't finish at close range. Was it the post again? Levy, a hard-fought ground ball. Shot clock resets. North Carolina can settle back into this possession. Some gritty defense from Princeton. Duffy stumbling to the ground. His shot was deflected and is picked up by Cooper Mueller. Mackesy, you really can't even let him get a second of free hands on his left side. You could tell by the way Salucci is defending him. He is leaning heavily to that left hand. Got the true freshman matching up against the senior and Princeton's 3rd all-time leading scorer. Burns and Dunphy. A couple goals for Dunphy against Duke. Mackesy working on a pick. Right side, Gianfrancaro gobbles up the skip shot. How impressive has Gianfrancaro been so far?
He really has, and his ability to stand on his head in net is why they've been able to find so much success offensively. He continues to create possessions for this UNC offense, and there's a reason that they're a team that has such an innate ability to clear the ball with an 85% clear percentage this season, but it just proves to show why they're able to gain so many offensive possessions.
I feel like if you're North Carolina, you're fine with Mackesy shooting from his right side. You'll take that shot.
No question. I mean, but his ability to, put different shots in different locations on cage is why he's one of the best in the nation.
Sure. You're not going to totally contain a guy like that, but you just want to limit the high percentage looks. Seeing Duffy and Petramala working up top a little bit. Wrinkle. Price, who has North Carolina's only goal. He's got a short stick, Jackson Green. English got inside, he misses. Matten to back it up. Matten knocks it down. Empty net, and we're tied. James Matten creates an opportunity and levels us at 2.
And this is just the epitome of this UNC team this year. Unsettled offensive possessions and finding success on the back end. Matten with a wide open goal, golden opportunity, and we're tied at 2.
The North Carolina team that has not had a lot of early opportunities. It's their most experienced attackman, Matten, with his 3rd goal of the season. Typically he's a distributor, but he does that all himself there. Creates a turnover, puts in the back of the net.
Led the midfield in scoring last season and has just been such a nice, bright piece for this offensive unit for the Tar Heels.
Our first goal since Kabiri scored with 9:24 to go in the first quarter. We went nearly 15 minutes between goals. Not something I expected to say this Sunday morning. How great is this ACC Ivy weekend? This is the 2nd year they put it together with Princeton and Penn coming down, a great cross-conference pollination event.
It's great for the fans at home, but even tougher for the guys out on the field with that quick turnaround. It's always a lot to ask of your program to make that quick switch, especially on the road.
Matten again, spinning. It was deflected. And we've got a flag down, our first flag of the afternoon. Free possession for Princeton. Neither squad has committed a significant amount of penalties their first few games. Mackesy off the pick. On the crease, Burns! The flag and then the goal, and Princeton takes back the lead.
Working across the field to find Mackesy, cutting across. It's just that splitting motion as they cross each other's faces that they're able to find that opening on the crease, and just an unbelievable shot from Burns to be able to wrap that one around his body and put that one by Gian Ficarro, who is no question had an exceptional day so far.
He's already at 6 saves. This will be a man-up opportunity for Princeton. Petramala in the box. I think that makes this face-off extremely critical if North Carolina wants a shot to kill this penalty. It's going to be a battle for possession. North Carolina wins it. Matten. And he's going to the net. Craddock makes the save. Nearly a man down goal for the Tar Heels. 35 seconds on the penalty. We haven't seen Princeton's man-up unit a ton this year. They're 2 for 4 in man-up opportunities. Not much time remaining. 10 seconds. Mackesy. And he scores. Somehow snuck it into the low inside corner. A ridiculous low angle shot. And at the very end of the man-up opportunity, the Tigers score.
Has heavily relied on that outside shot throughout his entire career. What great shot placement, and that's his spot out on the field, on the wings for his set shooting. Cocks it back and buries it past Gian Ficarro.
He had a huge game against North Carolina last year, his 13th goal of the season. He's averaging a hat trick a game right now. which I would say is a big deal, but that's pretty much par for the course for Mackesy. Somehow kept alive, and Green takes possession. What a play by Michael Bath on the faceoff.
Goose that one out into space and just put up a prayer, and it finds the Tigers for this offensive possession.
So after North Carolina tied it a couple for Princeton, Dunphy tried an underhanded shot. He lost the handle. A lot of momentum for the Tigers. Feels like a big possession here for North Carolina. And Duffy and Petramala have been very, very quiet through this first quarter and a half or so.
It's a very short weekend and didn't have enough time to really prepare themselves for this intensely aggressive Princeton defense, and still a lot of ball game left, still a lot of time for those two guys to get open, but so far this defense has really planned well for those two players.
One thing you mentioned to me before the game, you said their approach is really strong from their close defense. They kind of stifle your dodge before it can start.
That's just with being really aggressive on the perimeter.
English tried an inverted look. He tried to shovel it. Craddock didn't know where it was. It was in front of the net. Losing possession. That was Cooper Kistler trying to clear it. And North Carolina's ride gets another turnover. Matten has been a menace on the ride.
His second caused turnover today and is trying to will his team back into today's matchup. This is a rare occasion to see this Tar Heels team down, and this is a really good test for this young squad.
Haven't played from behind really at all in this 4-0 start. Maybe a couple of minutes. Price. Everybody for Princeton coming out to him. Duffy, short stick matchup. Early slide. Skip pass to English, the rip, and the score! Duffy draws the short stick, and North Carolina takes advantage.
Well, it really starts with this incredible caused turnover from Matten to be able to give the Tar Heels the possession back, and then Owen Duffy stretching the field, facilitating this offense, and then finds Ty English on the opposite side of the field. And he buries that one. Great shot placement. And this Princeton defense have been very aggressive on their slides, but were late to recover, and that left Ty English wide open.
15 career goals for the senior from Canada, who's worked his way onto the first midfield group the last couple of years. Nick Meekin with the face-off win. He's going all the way, misses wide. Neither side with a big run yet as we approach the 5-minute mark in this first half. The big man Carson Kramer. Bonanno spinning. He's got a step. Gian Ficcaro, you gotta be kidding me with that stop.
Point blank save from Gian Ficcaro. And just once again, willing this Tar Heels team.
Here comes Craddock out. Duffy inside. We are tied. Oh, and Duffy is getting going.
What a dodge and finish. I think with the way and how aggressive this Princeton offense is, continuously firing shots on net, that total.
You came into this matchup and you said, all right, there's going to be emotions for him. He was at Princeton for 4 years. Does that rattle him? It has not at all. Professional in the net for North Carolina, and he might have been the biggest addition in the offseason for the Tar Heel program. That includes a lot of the freshmen.
They had a top 5 transfer class with him included.
Trouble. Gianfacaro with another stop. This guy. Goals. 4 minutes to go in this first half. Back-to-back scores from the Tar Heels. Owen Duffy with an assist and a goal to tie the game. Dunphy finds Kabiri. Couldn't find the angle. Colombo, well off cage. Colombo has a short stick. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Nearly a turnover. Got to go if you're Princeton. He's up to 9 saves this morning. Still feels weird saying morning. Looks like we got a timeout here. North Carolina takes their first timeout. Remember that heading into this year, they remembered that tough loss, wanted to get their revenge, especially with the 5-0 start on the line. Keep in mind, we've got a great halftime segment coming up, another edition of The Cross. They're talking release points. It's Paul Carcaterra, Charlotte North. Charlotte North, one of the elite college players. I mean, she is so good. And she talks about shooting from different angles, different release points. Really cool stuff, especially for young lacrosse players that want to learn about that stuff. That's something I would tune into.
And it's been great to see her kind of get a front row seat to this evolution of the women's game, and now with professional avenues being grown for these women's lacrosse.
That'll be during halftime here. Still have 2 minutes and change. See if one of these sides can head into the locker room with a slight edge. Levy. Spinning. Petramala. And that ricocheted off the post. Petramala without a point today. Remember, he had 6 goals against Johns Hopkins. He's got 18 already. He's a top 5 scorer in the country, and he has been held scoreless. Can't imagine North Carolina wants to stay that way. Hands free, bouncing one wide right. Levy underneath. North Carolina in front. Ryan Levy, the senior, and his hometown.
Ryan Levy, just an exceptional job here. He gets that short-on-short matchup, beats his man underneath, and it's all about that explosive first step. Uses his speed to beat his matchup and buries that one. Ryan Levy with his 4th goal this season, and the Tar Heels have their first lead.
A 3-0 run. And they're starting to find their groove. There's a reason North Carolina's a top 5 team. They opened the season at number 17. Had an early big win against Michigan. The Johns Hopkins win really propelled them into that top 5. And if you go 2-0 this weekend, you're looking at a potential number 3 spot behind Notre Dame and Maryland.
Maryland.
How about the game those two played yesterday?
You read my mind. Maryland ended up beating Notre Dame yesterday in what was a huge game for the world of college lacrosse.
That one was in Atlanta at Bobby Dodd Field. North Carolina's hung up. Burns. This shot is blocked, and it'll stay with Princeton. That was Tucker Wade who had his shot deflected. The sophomore from Bethesda. Misses, and a lot of space there. Seven seconds for Princeton.
Get the look! Gianfacaro, you gotta be kidding me! Point blank and another save. He's into double digits.
And a quick timeout for North Carolina with 14.3 to go. 10 saves for Gianfacaro, 5 or 6 big ones.
Just an unbelievable save here. They beat their matchup, get a wide open look on the inside, and just unbelievable from Gianfacaro against his old Princeton squad. Steps into that shot, reaches his hands high, and just once again proving to the world why he is going to be a top selection in the upcoming PLL draft.
Well, it's the skill set for him. It's also the maturity, the communication, how he's a professional in the cage. And his career at Princeton speaks for itself. Two-time All-Ivy League player. They were so sad to lose him. Matt Madelon's like, I hate playing against him because, well, one, he's really good, but he said, I just miss coaching him.
He's an unbelievable player to be able to have on your side of things. And even for Gianfacaro, he had big shoes to fill after Colin Krieg finished up his career here in Chapel Hill. And he was an amazing goalkeeper in a large part of their run in 2022, but he comes here to Chapel Hill and he really wanted to be here. He told Coach Bresci that he wanted to finish his career of college lacrosse down here with the Tar Heels, and he has been a proven weapon on that defensive side. And as they said, it was going to be by committee. They were going to mix and match different personnel on defense, and they've had an incredible, proven leader in Gianfacaro to lead the charge for that defensive front.
All right, so 14.3 on the clock here. What's the look you're trying to get?
I'm trying to look. Been proven to be. You almost kind of run it like you're in a man-up situation. Yeah. You're getting the ball around the horn, even with not that much time left. You don't want to start it at X. So whoever the ball carrier is going to be, it's going to be the facilitator.
Wertheim starts it.
Madden had it go off his stick.
Wertheim saves it. And he won't get a shot off. That'll do it for the first. Out this first half, and Mike, Gianfacaro was the big story for North Carolina, but these defenses really stepping up.
You hit the nail on the head, and these defenses have been a large part in why this has been such a close game here.
A Sunday morning, North Carolina
to go.
Heck of a save.
Just an unbelievable save from the Maryland keeper. John Hopkins getting the best of Virginia, who have had some early season woes with the loss of Connor Schellenberger and Cormier on their offensive side. But McCabe Millen has the keys, and he's done a great job with them this season.
Even with the Maryland win, do you still have Notre Dame as your favorite to three-peat?
I'm an Irish fan. So it's
okay.
hard for me to answer that question. I've got a lot of Irish blood that runs through these veins, but I think we're going to see a switch at the top with Maryland claiming that #1 spot, but that certainly is a preview to what could be the matchup come championship.
Yeah, I mean, you have to put Princeton #1, right? But I can still see Notre Dame being the betting favorite to win the national championship for the 3rd straight year. North Carolina, one of those teams bidding to change that. Same with Princeton, 2 teams that could be in the top 5. North Carolina's already there, but after this weekend, they could both be there. And they're both trying to build that postseason resume. North Carolina was the top seed in 2021. They really haven't made much noise since that year. English rips one wide. Meanwhile, Princeton, 3 straight NCAA tournaments, back-to-back Ivy League champs. They haven't won a title since 2001. Petramala, ridiculous wraparound. A quiet first half, and he gets involved 38 seconds into the 3rd quarter.
Right out of the gate for Petramala, gets above goal line extended, gets his shoulder square to the cage, and just one fluid motion for Dom Petramala, and that's the guy that the Tar Heels need to get going. Number 19 on the season for Dom Petramala, and just such an explosive, nuclear type level player that the Tar Heels have.
So he was averaging 4.5 goals a game. That was 4th in Division I coming into this matchup. His first goal. See if he can find some momentum in the second half. McMeekin, face-off violation. For the Tar Heels. It's just a really complete North Carolina team this year, which they haven't had probably since that 2021 group. And last year you had guys like Duffy and Petramala getting their feet wet as freshmen. Duffy commits the turnover. Princeton in transition. Princeton got several good looks. Gian Ficarro was just too good. Stumbling and missing there was Quinn Kramer. Princeton seems to be trying to stretch out the defense this first possession of the second half. Kabiri. Gian Ficarro again off his chest protector.
Popcorn for Gian Ficarro as he makes another incredible point-blank save.
Lost the handle on the clear. Who touched it last? North Carolina did. It's a big-time turnover for Princeton to get the ball back. They haven't scored since Mackessy's goal with 8:12 to go in the second quarter. It's been a long drought for the Tigers. 4 top 10 matchups to start the season. North Carolina arguably the most talented team. They did see Maryland in their second game. Shot to score! The quick stick from Sean Cameron. And Princeton breaks their drought.
That's just really good ball movement from this Princeton offense. They get her around the top of the box and beat this UNC defense to their spot and buries that one in the bottom right corner. And you see Gian Ficcaro drop his hands and his whole body low. He's been doing that the entire game, but a great shot placement from Sean Cameron, who finds the back of the net and brings the Tigers back within one.
That was that vintage Princeton ball movement. Makasi off the face-off. Kabiri couldn't find an angle.
Sean Cameron, assist by number 48, John Dunphy.
A goal apiece so far in the second half. Mike, this has been awesome. What a matchup. It's lived up to the billing so far. Bonanno knifing through the defense, gives it off. Kabiri.
Wade, and we are tied. It's the Princeton midfield getting involved.
And this is an attack-dominant team, and this midfield is really starting to produce for this Princeton Tigers squad. Beats his matchup with the split dodge, and once again, showcasing their exceptional use of the middle of the field. Gets his shoulder square to the cage, and just that overhand motion to generate so much power pretty much puts that stick in his back pocket, and they tie things up at 6.
6 different goal scorers, but North Carolina is back in front. Oh my goodness. Parker Hoffman, the freshman.
And Coach Bresci mentioned this in our meeting that they were going to use Hoffman out on the wings. He just knows what is going to go on at that face-off X. A great read from Hoffman to understand that Wambach is going to his second exit, and that's up and out to his wing players. Finds Hoffman on the run, and he buries that one. What a moment for the young freshman.
All 13 goals so far scored by different players. That's unbelievable. Thanks, our producer, Lauren George, just put that in my ear. How about that? I would not have guessed that. Anybody have a 40 time for Hoffman? I'll tell you what, it's like a 4.3. He's blazing fast.
Incredibly quick and really showcased his dominant speed.
They've got him down at 5'9", 150. Whizzing one by there was...
And now an opportunity in front. And it's Petramala. He has scored. And that was initially Egan whizzing one, and then Petramala on the rebound.
Just wasting no time on this second chance opportunity. It was Duffy that had it on the inside. Petramala just locates it right below goal line extended, gets upfield, and just beautiful, beautiful control in that downward motion on that crease.
So he picks up his second. Well, no one is led by more than 2 goals. North Carolina has a chance to make it a 3-goal game. English,
Chronic with the big save. Petramala goes behind the back.
Brent Koopman, the long stick, is still out there. Duffy pleading for his team to slow things down. What a sequence on that last goal. Duffy with the behind the back, Petramala on the rebound. That's the young talent, the young duo on display for North Carolina. 2 sophomores that, Mike, we talked about a little bit with Bresci earlier this week. He talked about how at times it felt like they had to get theirs, but they have done such a good job integrating themselves into the offense this year.
They've not only done a great job at integrating themselves, they've done an even better job at integrating different weapons.
Yeah, good point. It's a little bit less for them about, hey, I got to get my stats, and more of, if I spread the ball around and do what the offense is supposed to do, as we get a rare turnover from Duffy on the misfire, if I do what I'm supposed to do, my stats will come along with the results for the team.
It's not only just about personal stats, and obviously you want to see personal growth within the players that you have, but sharing the wealth, gaining production from so many different avenues is why they've been able to be successful here early in 2025.
This North Carolina ride is relentless. Zalucci was the one who knocked it loose. People don't realize how complicated that ride can be. North Carolina does it so well, seamlessly.
There's a lot of pros and cons to that 10-man ride, but they do such a good job at just clogging up that middle of the field, and so many young weapons on this defensive front. And Chase Zalucci has just been such a bright spot for this defense and a sigh of relief for this coaching staff.
North Carolina looking for their largest lead. Matten went all the way through the middle of the defense. Inverted. Petramala, Kroddick with the save, and he gets the rebound as well. A couple big stops for Kroddick. Unable to clear it again. It's a little bit sloppy, but they eventually convert the clear. Starting to see North Carolina impose their will a little bit.
And that's a coach's nightmare, to see your short stick teammate and your two-way in the middle of the field, and especially when they don't have numbers on their side.
Kabiri working. Spinning. Palumbo! Kabiri finds him, and he finishes with the left hand. Back to a 1-goal game.
And this is a start to their season that they could have wanted, but this Ivy League tournament, and they're quite regarded as one of the top conferences in Division I men's lacrosse, and Cornell and Princeton and Harvard with a couple marquee wins on their slate here early on as they took down Syracuse in the early goings of their season. They are really making their mark this college lacrosse season.
Oh, airmailed that pass, Andrew O'Barry. Well, you're not going to knock Princeton's schedule. 4 top 10 teams to open this season. I don't think anybody's going to get on the horn and say, well, their schedule is a little bit weaker. Not this year. Chance to knot things up for the Tigers. Nobody's led by more than 2 in this game. Still got Zalucci matched up on Mackesy. Mackesy spinning, Zalucci fell down. Kramer, top corner. Tied at 8.
What a great look from the 6'5", 245-pound Kramer. That's a tight end in the NFL, and he uses the full power on this shot. Great shot placement. Crow hops into that shot and buries it. The big man finds the back of the net.
6'5", 245 pounds, a physical downhill dodger. He can rip it too. You just saw it there. Wambach was pushed from behind. So after Princeton had fallen behind by a couple, they get 2 big goals. Kroddick was out of the cage there for a second. Offense has been spread around for both teams. Petramala, the only player from either side with a multi-goal game. A top 10 matchup on Sunday morning. Both these teams wrapping up their ACC Ivy League weekend. We got a back and forth one. Wertheim, English, and it hop out of his cross for a moment. Top side, just wide of the right post. Petramala, who's starting to heat up. Duffy, underhanded shot, no good, and Princeton in transition. 4-on-3, Mackesy.
Princeton in front. The senior Coulter Mackesy on the fast break. 3 straight for the Tigers.
What transition game from this Princeton defense. Find that ball after triple teaming Duffy. Get this ball out quick. And they find Mackesy, who uses a beautiful dodge in his bag and buries that one. What a great goal from Coulter Mackesy.
It's been a tough matchup for Salucci. He's done a really good job, and in the fast break, he was a little bit out of position, not knowing whether or not he would need to slide. Princeton has stormed back. Now a ground ball battle, and it's won. This is Kobe Ginder, who will sub in and take a few face-offs for Princeton, getting a big win. Had a few face-offs that he won against Duke. That was really big late for Princeton, the face-offs. They won a lot of critical ones when Duke was trying to mount a comeback. So Mackesy and Petramala each with a pair. Big man Kramer. Wade, Gianfacaro turns that one away. Save counter up to 12 for him. Mackesy got Salucci on the ground. Now he's got a short stick. Gianfacaro with the stop. Short stick for Mackesy. They're going to take advantage of this.
This is a long offensive possession for these Tigers, and Hagerup with a tough matchup.
Early slide. It's still a short stick. Now it's O'Barry on Mackesy. I'm surprised they're not giving it back to him. Kabiri lost it. Proska poked it away. 10 on the shot clock, and we've got a push. This will stay with Princeton. They've got 9 seconds. And they reset the shot clock. This long possession continues. And Mackesy didn't like that. He gets the flag. Barton putting a massive check on his right hand. So now to add to the long possession, we've got our second flag of the game. Both have been on North Carolina. Cameron skips one wide, and now we'll check on the flag.
Just a desperation check there from Barton as the Tigers are getting their substitutions in. We'll take a look at that one. Just a blatant check right on the shoulder blade of Coulter Mackesy, and that's going to get the call 10 times out of 10.
Well, and it's right in front of the official, right in front of the bench.
Yeah, right in front of the official, right in front of his view of that far side official. So Tigers get a man-up opportunity. They have a nice EMO set and will utilize that man in the middle of the field. And you see Kabiri, the point man, and he's in that spot-feeding location and has a lot of weapons on his side.
They converted their first man-up opportunity. Kabiri quarterbacking. Oh, nice job there. Cameron rattles one off the crossbar. Kabiri kept it alive. Cameron had the look. North Carolina fortunate that didn't find the back of the net. 30 seconds left to go in the man-up opportunity. A few more seconds. Mackesy off the post again. Rebound behind the back. Another behind the back. And they convert. Back to back behind the backs. Finds the back of the net. That's a lot of backs.
Second chance goals as the Tigers continue to wreak havoc on their man-up opportunities. Mackesy gets it. It's bumped up back in the air, and they finish with a beautiful over-the-shoulder shot. And that's a very tough save for Gian Vaccaro to make. And we saw them come out in that four-man wheel concept, and they got everyone a touch on that EMO unit, put Kabiri back up top, and just continue to hound this UNC defense. And those long, rangy possessions are going to be crucial if they want to find those openings within the Tar Heels defensive squad.
You don't see that often. Back to back behind the backs. Tongue twister. Princeton up by a couple. Haven't had a 2-goal lead since it was 4-2 with 8 minutes to go in the first half. North Carolina came out, grabbed the momentum in the third. .60 seconds to go in this third quarter. Duffy into traffic. Levy's pass wayward for Suchek, and now there's a loose ball in front of the crease. Petramala somehow came out with it. Now he shoots and he scores! The hat trick for Petramala.
What a look from Dominic Petramala, as there was a huge fight for the ball on the carpet. It's Petramala that comes up with it out of that big old crowd of defense, fires on the run, and the crowd just goes nuts. They love when Petramala gets the ball in his stick. He is a highlight reel type player and comes in with his 21st goal this season, one of the leaders in the ACC in goals per game, and he has been dominant in his sophomore season so far.
Over 4 goals a game entering this matchup. Top 5 in the country. North Carolina with some time here. They could pull even at 10. Well, the offenses have shown up for this third quarter. It was the first half all about defense. This is more of the game we expected, the back and forth. .15 seconds. English. Matten. Craddock makes the save up top. And that should about do it for this third quarter. And it will. North Carolina was ahead by 1 at the half. Princeton has flipped it. 1 quarter to go. Don't go anywhere. We've got a great top 10 matchup on this Sunday.
Old Spice Swagger's long-lasting freshness makes me smell good, so coach thinks I'm slacking.
If you're working hard, how do you smell so fresh?
So I trained constantly, took my Old Spice Swagger, and got a drill named
Start to this season for Dom Petromalo.
Hat trick for him, Mackesy, couple goals, couple assists. Petromalo's had a gritty hat trick. You mentioned those ugly opportunities that he's won a ground ball or picked up a deflection, picked up a rebound, put it in the back of the net. First half was all about the defenses. Third quarter, both offenses got rolling. Ten combined goals in that third quarter. We had 9 combined goals in the first half. Price had the first goal of this game. Duffy wrapping and scoring.
Stumbling around the crease, he finishes to level us at 10.
It's amazing how much ground he's able to cover with just 2 to 3 steps. Gets the ball, and he's pretty much already beat his matchup at X. That forward movement just generates so much power as he wraps around and puts that one in the back of the net. It's only his 11th goal this season, but so much of this offense flows through him that even if he's not scoring, he's still so much of a threat off ball that it allows for so much production outside of him.
It's led to 6 assists as well, 17 points. Neither side can get a significant lead. Nobody's been ahead by more than 2. This top 10 matchup on Sunday, potential postseason implications. With these schools trying to build their resumes early in the year. North Carolina's looking for a 5-0 start. Princeton, who's had 4 top 10 teams to start the season, trying to take 3 of those matchups and put themselves into the top 5.
We've been back and forth in this matchup so far, and a lot of it has to do with the play at the faceoff X. And Brady Wambach coming off what was an incredible freshman season in 2024 and has really put that specialty unit on his back with his ability to win it forward.
He's won 16 of 24. Petromala again. Craddock with the save. Oh, but it gets tipped as he tries to pass it out of the crease, and North Carolina forces another turnover with their 3rd or 4th they've forced in this game.
It's one of the best rides in the entire country. No matter what point of the game it is, there's so much fuel left in the tank of each and every one of these players on the field for UNC.
It's actually been where they've caused most of the turnovers. Princeton has not turned it over much on the offense. Matten typically likes to operate behind the net. Duffy. Here comes the slide. His shot is saved by Craddock. A couple of big saves for him in that possession. He's up to 9 saves. Dan Ficcaro's got 11 of his own. And Mike, you're next to me kind of saying settle it down if you're Princeton here. Give your defense a breather.
Really give them a breather. Give your personnel time to get onto the field and then set something up.
Cameron Gianficcaro to his knees for the stop. Another golden point-blank look. Goalkeeping from both sides has been A+.
The first midfield unit is on for North Carolina. English and Wertheim. Another substitution coming for Price. Here he comes. He's got a step on his defender. English has that go off his stick. Trying to win it back, and it's taken away. Princeton forces the turnover. North Carolina's 12th turnover. Kabiri might have got away with the ward there for a second, but it's saved by Gianfrancaro. Barton with the clear. North Carolina does not have the numbers here. Under 10 to go. Whoever wins this, it's a massive resume builder. It keeps you in the top 5 if you're North Carolina, maybe moves you up to 3. If you're Princeton, a win here definitely puts you in the top 5. Petramala
Somehow through the defense, and finally it was batted away as he tried to shoot it.
He was trying to one-man army that. Levy's had a short stick most of the time in this game. Petramala with the shorty. Up top. Bouncing one wide, that was Harshbarger. 3 seconds on the shot clock, and North Carolina is already subbing for a defensive midfield.
You're just going to put this one
Yeah.
in the corner. And Duffy.
Or if you're Duffy, you're going to try and wrap all the way around.
They go for the slam dunk. You don't see that every day. That's a
box lacrosse.
A big-time
Yeah.
box lacrosse move, and would have been called in the crease even if he had scored that one. But
He said, I'll just try and put the cape on. Why not?
an aggressive take, very aggressive take from Owen Duffy.
And nothing to lose there. Let's see if Brescia has anything to say to him about that. Maybe not next time. Off the post. Bonanno didn't quite have the angle above GLE. Under 8 minutes to go. Wade. Bottom corner. Princeton on the board in the 4th quarter.
Really nice dodge from Wade here. Plants his foot, gets to the middle of the field, and no pick was set, but still generates so much space. The Tigers are up 1. Many moving pieces on both sides of this offense, and each team has done a really good job at disrupting the defense, using those off-ball picks, and just forcing this defense to make quick decisions. And that's how you find those holes and locate those different offensive pieces for either side. They really are showcasing their use of the middle of the field, and they've been able to get 91 open and use him as a ball carrier, allow him to sweep across, and he just gets downhill and blows by each defender that approaches him.
Kobe Ginder on the faceoff. Princeton's trying to give Wambach a different look. He had won 2/3 of the faceoffs before that. And it's a good change there for Madelon. Really good adjustment. Here we go. Nobody's led by more than 2. A goal apiece so far in this 4th quarter. Petramala and Duffy have gotten going for North Carolina. Princeton spread the love. Mackessy's got a couple, so does Palumbo. Here's Mackessy now. Dunphy, who's been quiet, has the short stick. Mackesy hands free. You don't want to see that if you're North Carolina.
You can't allow him to drift down that alley like that. He is such a threat on the run.
Normally he'll put those away. Palumbo somehow swimming through everybody. Insanity. And Palumbo's got his hat trick.
Palumbo, just such a physical presence on this offense, fights through the contact, spins his way through that UNC defense, and puts it in the back of the net. What an effort, what an individual effort from Palumbo, and the twister at the end to finish it off. What a goal for this Princeton team. That sideline is absolutely loving it right now.
Somebody get SportsCenter on the phone. That's a top 10 type play. Mike's dialing him up now. Holy smokes. Can North Carolina respond now? Need possession to do it. Who touched it last? It was Barton and UNC. Or excuse me, it was Princeton that touched it last. Barton takes possession. This feels like arguably the biggest possession of the game for North Carolina, Mike.
Time is winding down, and it is running out for this UNC squad. They have traded this lead back and forth, but it all starts with this possession. They need to control this possession, settle things down for this offense, and just provide a calming presence. That midfield has been producing. Let's see what Owen Duffy can do here.
He's got 2 goals and an assist. Petramala has the hat trick. Here's Duffy now. English. Duffy with the assist. English goes top shelf.
What vision here from Owen Duffy. There's 3 parts of your dodge. The setup, the dodge, and the finish. And whether that finish is putting it in yourself or finding an open man, he threads the needle here for Ty English. That's great defense from this Princeton squad. They keep their sticks in passing lanes, but Duffy just puts that on a rope and Ty English finishes.
Great call there. You said, hey, let's see what Duffy can do. He gets something done immediately. And North Carolina, who needed to respond to the Princeton momentum, does so, and now they get the face-off. So a chance to even things up. Petramala to get things going. Can't emphasize enough how great this matchup has been. We talked about it heading in, how well these 2 teams matched up with each other, and that's shown so far.
It was a defensive game in that first half, and now it's been heavily reliant upon both of these offenses. And Duffy, he's the guy for this UNC team, and he really wants to put this team on his back, and you saw in that last possession, he's going to continue to operate.
So here's Duffy again. Can he create another goal? Petramala's hanging out up top. Cutting English, tried to spin and shovel one in, and who got to that first? It was Matten in North Carolina. Craddock made an effort. Crunch time for the Tar Heels. They have not been behind through their first 5 games often. Wertheim off the crossbar. The bounce shot ticked over the bar.
It's that far side Mumbo action, just the single Mumbo that got Wertheim wide open and puts that one on the ground. Unfortunate he can't finish there.
And when you're referring to the Mumbo, just for the viewers out there, what are you referring to offensively?
It's a pick on the inside, and then that inside attacker pops out on the wing and leaves him wide open, and he had the space and the time and room to shoot, just couldn't finish.
English, who just scored. Duffy working, scoring!
Owen Duffy putting North Carolina on his back. It's his third of the afternoon, and we are tied at 12.
He doesn't look like a sophomore. He looks like a 5-year veteran out there. The second he stepped foot onto this campus, it was smooth sailing. And what a finish here with his left hand. Uses his body to create just a sliver of space, and there really isn't an angle there. He just puts that one right past the helmet of Krotic. What shot placement and what a goal for Owen Duffy. What a matchup we have here today.
Couldn't ask for a better Sunday morning matchup. If you're just joining us, it has been back and forth the entire game. We've got 4 minutes to go. North Carolina with back-to-back goals to tie it up. Both teams that could be sniffing around the top 3, top 5 after this week of action. Trying to build their postseason resumes. Princeton looking for their 3rd top 10 win. North Carolina looking for a 5-0 start. Duffy, an assist and a goal in North Carolina's last 2 possessions. Michael Bath stuck his long stick out there, deflected the pass. Now it's a battle for possession, a critical possession. Princeton comes up with it. So here we go, the Tigers with their first offensive possession in a few minutes.
Like the decision for McAsee there, had the numbers and recognizes that he has that backup in Kabiri to be able to maintain the possession. Under 3 minutes left to go. Every pass that you make and shot that you take has to be perfect. Palumbo!
He has had a dominant second half.
Just an off-ball nightmare. And need to be able to step up in big moments like this. You saw Duffy putting the team on his back within the final few minutes of this second half and had an assist, then a goal right after that. They're gonna look to him to try to facilitate and tie this game. Time is running out for UNC, but they have somehow been able to find a response.
There's a contingent of Princeton faithful that are trying to fire up their defense ahead of this possession. So you got a full shot clock if you're North Carolina. You're down a goal. It has to be Duffy and Petramala here, right?
And you see Duffy's point on the field right now. Right now he's the crease attackman. They're gonna try to set a pick on the inside for him and work him back out on a wing to try to create that marquee dodge that he likes so much.
And he just got a short stick. You think they would wheel it back to him pretty quickly here. He wants it. Feeding Petramala. What a stop by Krotic. English wins the ground ball. There's a whistle. And a timeout.
Great timeout there from Bresci. Saw they got a quick possession, burned the timeout. It's a crucial point in this game, and we saw it in that John Hopkins matchup as well. Had 2 timeouts left to burn with under 30 seconds left to go. He is one of the best coaches of all time in college lacrosse. He has been in this situation time and time again, and it was just a well-timed, smart, executed timeout from head coach Joe Bresci.
When you got the look you wanted there, Duffy found Petramala. Was just a big save from Krotic, and everything the last few possessions has been run through Duffy. He's starting the possession, he's finishing with his dodging.
And the scout on Duffy is that he's just got an electric first step. He beats every single matchup upfield. It's so incredible to see the way that he works north and south, works east and west. There is not a point on this field where Duffy cannot score from, and he showcases it right there on that last clip. Physical, uses contact well, and is just a deceptive shooter, creates so much uncertainty for that keeper. But Craddock, once again, is just having an exceptional day. He has his number and had it right there.
Well, you're running out of time if you're UNC, but with 2 minutes left and a full shot clock, you can easily set up whatever you want here. North Carolina team that's got their first top 5 ranking since February of 2022, looking for a 5-0 start for their first time in a few years. Princeton's giving them everything they can handle and then some. Price matched up on green. Duffy's behind the cage right now. Here's Petramala. He's got the hat trick. English ripping. Craddock with the save. And Princeton can run down most of the clock here. North Carolina has to pressure. Are you taking Gianfrancaro out of the net here?
I'm going to leave him in there. I did not like that shot selection from English. I would have liked to see him move it around, get a touch, and there was a lot of time left on that shot clock for them to facilitate some offense, and just a easy save for Craddock, and this is a big-time possession here for Princeton.
Well, they've got about a 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock, so you're just trying to run out the clock. Gianfrancaro's out of the net right now. North Carolina's trying to double the ball. Dunphy stays alive, and we've got a timeout by Princeton and Matt Madelon with 36 seconds to go. So Gianfrancaro is out of the net. North Carolina just has to force a turnover. They've got no option here.
They're going to either put Burns or Kabiri in one of the corners of this field and try to run as much clock out is humanly possible, and this is a very aggressive defense. Tar Heels have no timeouts. Princeton still with one, so this is a similar situation that Coach Bresci was in that Johns Hopkins game. So there's a lot of time left, but also a lot of time to run out this clock. We'll see what Princeton will do with that extra timeout, but you got to think that they're going to put it in the hands of Kabiri or Burns.
Yeah, and I agree with what you were saying on last possession. It felt like a settle for English on that shot when you had the time to potentially get a better look.
He had time and room, but there were so many other avenues that you can go to when it comes to that last possession and what very well could be their last offensive possession of this matchup.
So if Princeton hangs on here, where do you have them jumping up? I mean, they've got to move up from 8. You get a win against Duke and North Carolina in 3 days. Then you have to, you'd think would jump maybe 5 or 6.
It's a tough thing to say. Obviously, I'm not one of those people that makes those decisions, but into that top 5 range. This is a huge resume win for the Princeton Tigers, and this is a tough bout for this UNC team in what is probably the toughest test that they have had this entire season, and kudos to them for, battling tough with Princeton.
Proska and O'Berry, who's got a long stick, trying to take it away from Mackesy. 25 seconds to kill. Elects not to shoot with the empty net. Again, a 3-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Green harassed. Gets through everybody, and he's going to put this away. That should seal things for Princeton. Jackson Green on the empty net.
What a great weekend it was for Princeton, but what an even better weekend for Jackson Green. Was named player of the game by his peers in that Duke win on Friday night, and is a very aggressive short stick defender for this Princeton squad, and that's his 2nd goal this weekend. And we saw him with a momentum shifting goal on Friday night where he lowered the shoulder, barreled through a Duke defender and put it in the back of the net against a quality goalkeeper in Patrick Jamison.
If you're Princeton, you come to North Carolina, you knock off Duke, you drive down the road and you knock off North Carolina. It's about as good of a weekend as you can have. Number 7 and number 4 teams in the land, and you knock them off on the road. The 2-time defending Ivy League champs, Princeton, burns through North Carolina. A pair of massive wins on the weekend, and they have 3 top 10 victories to start the season.
It's an amazing win for this Princeton Tigers team, and they had a tough bout heading into this 2020